Let me not say
if
that.
the
He don't
Vatican
care.
called me to perform backyard at the Vatican, I'm going.
You're going?
Yes,
Oh.
I'm going. Like the Vatican? What? I'm going.
Man, only way I'm going is if I get to wear like all African garb up there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? With a Marcus Garvey flag in the background.
Full radical.
Facts.
Full radical. Bro.
Facts. This is episode 104 of the Rhythm and Rhymes podcast. I'm your host, AJ Hughes. I'm here with my co-host, Antonio Hughes. And I got a fun fact to lead the episode. We'll get into it later. But the Vatican has the largest collection of African artifacts in the entire world. And just to let you know, the Vatican is in Europe. How was your week?
I was pretty good. I had some interviews. I'm still on this job hunt. Market's been not great, but otherwise training's been decent. Planning out my trip to Tally. I'm going to Tally for homecoming for 4 days. And then there was another
When is
trip.
Hoko?
October. It's the week of October 16th or the 18th. That week is like middle of October. So I'm planning on going there. But yeah, I think that'll be a fun experience with my friend's last one.
There you go. Last hurrah. Last hurrah before your unk.
All right, bro. Whatever. 23 coming up. You know?
Yeah, your unk can't be on college campuses without looking crazy. I know.
Hell yeah.
This week I did want to lead with the new Def Jam. We talked about it a couple weeks and I forgot we were supposed to come on here and get into it. But I did some research into this new CEO and I found it to be interesting. You want me to tell you about it?
I do. I want to hear about it.
So the current CEO of Def Jam is Tunji Balogun. He was someone who's worked in the music industry for a long time. He started off as a marketing intern at Interscope and eventually worked his way up to A&R at Interscope, specifically with Bad Boy Records, which we won't get into, and Shady Records. And during that time, he worked with artists like Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q, Keisha Cole, One Republic, and others. He then moved on to RCA as Senior VP of A&R. And in 2018, he was promoted to Executive VP of A&R, and he signed artists Brockhampton, Childish Gambino, Goldlink, Her, Khalid, SZA, Bryson Tiller, and Cause. So long list of names he's worked with as an A&R. But in 2022, he was promoted to Def Jam CEO. And I found this to be interesting because I went down the roster. I went to look at the roster of Def Jam. And there's a lot of names you would normally see on there. Big Sean, Jeezy, Janae Aiko, the normal names you would expect. Justin Bieber is still signed there. But there's been a bunch of artists that have signed to Def Jam in the last 3 years that I feel like were relevant to what we talk about on here and just a complete different pivot from Def Jam historically. Def Jam has been hip hop and R&B. It is one of the most historic labels when it comes to hip hop and R&B. But since then, they've signed Odumodu Block, Stonebwoy, Skip Marley, Masika, Bloody Civilian, Elmine, who we came on here and talked about last week. Stormzy and Adekunle Gold are signed to 0207 Def Jam, which is their UK arm. All of these artists are not traditional hip hop and R&B acts. And I have multiple thoughts about this, but I wanted to know what you thought about it just from the grand scope of Def Jam being Def Jam and them making like this pivot.
I feel like they're probably trying to make a pivot just so that they can stay with the times. Like obviously Afrobeats, African music, house music is blowing up all across the world. So I think they're just trying to, knowing that they are historically we have been the biggest market for entertainment and we've had the biggest labels and stuff like that. I'm assuming that they're more so looking at it as, okay, we have this entire group that we're trying to tap into. Africa in the next, I think it's the next 10 to 15 years, they're going to have the largest population of people under, I think it was 25,
30.
Under 30. It was under 30. Yeah. So they're obviously seeing where stuff is going, where their largest market could be. And I think they're just trying to capitalize on that to make sure that they don't get left behind with rap still being, obviously, like we said, we're going to talk about it later with the Vatican, the Clipse, and all that. And obviously, rap is still one of the biggest genres. It's still a worldwide genre, but we do see new genres and new areas coming into prominence as far as importance when it comes to music and entertainment and business. So,
Do you think do you think it's important to like preserve historical brands and imprints? Like when I think about the reason I'm sort of split on this is because I love the direction they're going in, but at the same time, I understand what Def Jam means to just hip hop and like African American music. And some could say that they're like muddying the pool of what the brand means, right? Like this is not what Def Jam was historically. I'm not saying this is my opinion, but this could be a differing opinion. Do you think like it's important to preserve the brands in that way, or do you think evolving them and because like I said, they're still signing, like they still have artists that are what you would call traditional Def Jam artists signed there, right? Like, do you think you can do both at the same time, or do you think it's more important to preserve what you already got?
um, I don't know. I feel like that's a tough one for me because I feel like in the black community we've seen a lot of things not be preserved and not held up, and I think it is still important for us to hold up the past and talk about the past. But I also think that's kind of hard when they consolidated the labels and they changed who was in it, and the history is kind of like no longer there. Like the people who knew the history and were for the history are no longer there, so it's hard to sit here and say like, oh yeah, they should keep it when a whole new regime of people come in and they have different ideas and they've had different experiences. And obviously Tunji Balogun, I don't know where he was from originally, but I'm sure he has connections to that type of music, to Afrobeats music. So he probably saw or had the vision and be like, okay, we need to bring this
He's
over to.
Nigerian American,
Okay, yeah.
just for
So
context.
so
Yeah,
signing some of these people makes complete sense to me, especially when you have a person who grew up listening to Afrobeats, most likely, um, leading your label. Like it doesn't. It to me, it's like yes, we need to preserve it, but it doesn't really surprise me that it hasn't been preserved. And I think there's still spaces, which I guess they're getting more limited by the day, that are preserving rap music, that are preserving R&B, that are preserving American Black music. But I do think it's getting to slim to none. So I do understand why well, you say you don't know what you think, but or you didn't say what you think, but
He-
yeah,
yeah. I think that it's like a double edged sword, right?
right.
Because as a business, you do have to pivot to like target new consumers and stuff like that. So from a business standpoint, this might make sense. But just looking at the list of artists, there's like one and a half artists on here that I think could be like I think like maybe one artist on here could be mainstream here, right? If that's what they're trying to do, right? Like if capturing like the American market in a big way, I think the only artist on this list that I brought forward that could like really reach Black Americans in that way that are I don't even want to say potentially open because I feel like they're I feel like Elmine is the only artist on here that like like a Def Jam release traditionally could reach like the masses in America in that way, right? Afrobeats has sort of like it had its pop and it's sort of not dying down, but it's not as like it's not trending like it was a couple of years ago. And I think he's the only artist on here where like if you were to present him as a traditional Def Jam artist, people would just be like, "Oh, that's R&B," because of the type of music that he makes. I think Stormzy is a global artist. He's an international artist and he's super big, but he's one of my favorite artists, but he's still not widely known, and I think the accent thing is still a big thing here. Like, people still aren't open to rappers like that who have an accent, you know what I'm saying? Central C has been the only one able to break through, and I feel like that's because he's racially ambiguous in that way. Um, but so I think potentially, if they don't get a lot of traction with these artists like they're expecting to, it could backfire on them in the long run. Like, was it worth muddying the waters of Def Jam? Because you could have easily just started a new label. like a smaller boutique label that housed all these artists that was under Def Jam. You could have done that, but that's not what they did. They signed them to Def Jam proper. You know what I'm saying? So I'm 100% for it, like to see where it goes, but I could also see where it could go wrong.
Yeah, I could definitely see where it could go wrong, but I think there's also like maybe there's a change in what's really mainstream, I guess. Even though you said racial ambiguity, it will also be raps got him there. Like he made some good songs.
Yeah.
He used American samples to reach that American audience. Like he found different ways to do that. There's people like Thames and Wizkid who kid's been to me mainstream for a long time. People who have reached Black Americans, who Black Americans have liked their music. So I think it really just depends on how you frame it. And like I said, I think there's just a change in what's really mainstream and what isn't. And if mainstream is really even like, I won't say it's not a thing, but yeah, I guess that's what I'd say.
I know, I think that's a good point. Like they may not how most people may because traditionally mainstream was primarily America,
Yeah.
right? That might not be the case anymore, and the analytics may point to that.
Right.
Like the numbers that they're looking at may point to that. So they may look at it like, okay, what we traditionally would have went after is no longer our main market. It's only a percentage of the market, and maybe we need to broaden the people we're targeting,
Right.
right? But yeah, I just thought this was interesting because I kept seeing new artists pop up on Def Jam, and I'm like, bro, when did Anna Kunle Gold sign to? You know what I'm saying? It was
Yeah.
just very odd. And I'm interested to see what these artists do in the future, right? Like I think Odumodu Block, we like Odumodu Block on here, but I wonder what he does like globally after a while. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know where he goes, but we'll see. We'll see what these artists do. Masika is really dope. Like Masika's last album, that was the first time I tuned into like a dance hall album.
Yeah.
Dance hall is traditionally mainly singles,
Mhm.
right? This was the first time and it was a good project.
Whoop.
It was a good project. That project he put out to be determined. Let's see where it goes. But I thought it was worth mentioning. And shout out to Tunji Balogun because like getting the job of CEO at Def Jam in a prime like those are primarily like Def Jam is owned by a huge corporation that's mainly white people. So to take the bat at like, yo, let's hone in on Africa, like take some guts. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's completely true.
This was an interesting thing I came across today, right? Like I was searching historic moments in Jacksonville music history, right? First thing I came across, the first time that the blues was played on a public stage in ever was in Jacksonville, Florida,
Okay.
here in La Villa. It's 10 minutes from the crib, you know what I'm saying? Thought that was worth mentioning. But I also came across this song, Whoot, There It Is. And I thought it was a song that all of us know, but it is not, right? So there's two songs that came out around this time with similar names. There's Woot, There It Is, and Whoop, There It Is. And there was actually some controversy around these songs because the concepts are super similar. So much so that in 1993, Arsenio Hall, legend, he brought both of the groups on, Tag Team and 95 South, to perform both of the songs and basically like compare like what does the public think is the best song. And he did that in hopes of like he raised money for the floods, the Midwest floods that were in the South in 1993, which I thought was cool.
Mhm.
But I wanted to bring both of the songs to you and tell you and see which one you liked more. And then I would get into like what the songs went on to do, like on the Billboard charts and what they went on to sell and stuff like that.
All right. Yeah, I definitely want to hear this other version. You know, I've been here, Whoop, There It Is my whole life. You know, y'all might throw me
Right.
off, bro.
So this is Woot There It Is by 95 South. I'm gonna play a little bit of it and then I'll probably play like 30 seconds of it. All right, let's see.
Boom. Chocolate.
Hey, let me know if you can hear it when I start.
Chillin' at Creek, Nick, Tiny, Atlanta, Georgia. Yo, we come out here to find out where's that? Where's that? Where that booty at? All the fellas, where that booty at? Everybody, where that booty at?
Those cues.
Yes, bro. This is HBCU culture, bro. This is HBCU culture. For sure. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. That was Whoop There It Is by 95 South. Now, here is Whoop There It Is by Tag Team. I have an opinion. When I played these back to back, I had a clear, it was like I had an opinion, but I'm going to let you make up your own mind.
Party people! Yeah! Tag team music in full effect. That's me, DC, the brain supreme. And my man Steve Rowland. We're kicking the flow. We're kicking the flow. And it goes a little something like this. Tag team back again. Check it, wreck it, let's begin. Party on, party people, let me hear some noise. DC's in the house, jump, jump, rejoice. There's a party over here, a party over there. Wave your hands in the air, shake the dairy, yeah. These three words mean you're getting busy. Whoop, there it is, hit me. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is.
All right, all right, all right, all right. So, which one which one of these do you like better?
I think personally, obviously the second one to me. Like, if you listen to the first one, you can like that might be one of the worst ripoffs I've ever heard. Like, as far as I'm saying, like you can just clearly see how you ripped this hook directly off me. Like you could clearly see that how they ripped it from the first song to the second song, right? But
Yeah.
I will say that the second one obviously sounds more polished. It sounds like it had a little more, I guess, energy to it. The first song sounded like something you would make as a newer group. Like Tag Team was established and like, you know what I mean? Like,
That's so it's you know how crazy it is that like I felt the same way where it was like so Woots, there it is. The first one we listened to released on March 23rd, 1993.
mhm.
Whoop, there it is. The second one we listened to released on May 7th, 1993. But on the Wikipedia page, it lists right below it that it was recorded October 1992. And both groups to this day still say that the other group ripped them off, right? I agree with you. I think the second one is way better. I think the hook is clearly like they bit the hook, but the verse, well, I think the verse and the beat on the second one, the way that shit came, yeah, that shit. As soon as it came on, I was like, oh yeah, they got them producers in there. They got the real, you know what I'm saying? They got a big group of producers. They got a bigger budget, and the verses was just hard. Like they was on there rapping.
Yeah. No,
They was on there
that's a
rapping.
black hit, bro.
So Whoop, there it is. The first one we listened to went platinum. It went one time platinum, and it went 11 on the Billboard Hot 100. Whoop, there it is. The second one went 4 times platinum, and it went number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. So the second one was clearly more successful. It was more popular. But I still think we do need to give 95 South Day credit. You know what I'm saying? Like without the first one, there is no second one, in my opinion. Shout out Duval, shout out Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying? 95 South
Right.
did their thing.
Right.
And shout out Arsenio Hall. Arsenio Hall is like, we don't have shows like that anymore. We don't have like shows where it's like everybody needs to go in there. Back in the day in the 90s, if you were a rapper, R&B artist, a black artist, you went on Arsenio Hall. So for Arsenio Hall to do the live verses in 93, I think it's worth noting, man.
I didn't even know he was in Coming to America. That's funny.
He was. Shout out that dude, bro. Shout out that dude.
Shit.
You did put on here Clipse become the first ever hip hop artist to perform at the Vatican. Give me some more information about this. I watched a little bit of it, but did they do like a full concert or it was just a one song?
Yeah, the Pope put on a concert at the Vatican. He had a lot of like black music there, which it wasn't surprising to me because obviously he's from Chicago. Like he was Chicago baby, whatever you want to call it. So I saw Pharrell came up there, John Legend came. Hey guys, if you haven't yet subscribed to the Real R&R podcast on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, what are you doing? You're missing out on great content. We put out content every week. Go follow that.
That was my neighbor. I don't know what that was. He dropped something loud. John Legend. You say he brought John Legend out.
Yeah, yeah, he had John Legend sing a bunch of songs. He had a big choir out there. But I don't know. I just thought it was cool to see the Clipse up there. I think still that he even saw. I guess when you look at the Vatican, it's like they have high class art. That's what a lot what is in a lot of the Vatican. So for him to see the Clipse as high class art, see rap music as high class art, to me was really cool. And then their performance was really good as well. So
Some experience death and feel numbness, but not me. I felt it all and couldn't function.
It was. I will say, like watching it, the clips just be fresh now. They just be so fresh wherever they
as
go.
hell.
And the show was raw.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. Like I'm not gonna take a because my thing is in terms of promoting music, they have high class art. Like you said, they have a ton of high class art there. So for specifically the music like band in me, I was there for it. But very quickly, like, bro, the Vatican was established essentially to house all of the wealth of the Catholic Church,
Right.
right? So the Catholic Church were the Catholic Church played a big part in the transatlantic slave trade and colonialism in Africa. Like I led with this they have the largest collection of African artifacts in the world, over 10,000 African artifacts dating back to the 16th century, right? And to me, the black man in me, some just didn't feel right about it. Like it was like, yo, this is fly, but like give them people their art back, bruh. Art back. Like, that's how I felt. I was sitting there like, yo, yeah, we got a little performance. They up there doing a thing, but why are we like, I guess, giving the culture stamp to the Vatican? That's how I felt, bruh. I couldn't shake the feeling. I was like, "Yo, this is fly." I love Pusha T's suit. His braids are crazy. But why are we stamping the Vatican still?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. I feel like maybe, and the thing is, it's lack of knowledge. I feel like Pusha T is smart enough to know that, but it's also like if
He
the
probably don't
Vatican,
care.
if,
And my thing is, if he don't care, I don't care.
bro,
You know, let me not say
if
that.
the
If he don't
Vatican
care,
called me to perform backyard at the Vatican, I'm going.
you're going.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm going. Like nigga, the Vatican? What? I'm going.
man. Only way I'm going is if I get to wear like all African garb up there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? With a Marcus Garvey flag in the background.
Full radical.
Facts.
Full radical, bro.
Facts. But if they ask you to perform backyard, I'd have to go and support. You know
Like
what
what,
I'm saying?
bro? Like
That's crazy. That's crazy. Wow. Cardi B's album comes out next week,
Mhm.
like you said. But she's been promoting it in Washington Heights. I didn't see this.
Yes. I don't know if this was yesterday or Friday, but a video got put out of her. She was sitting on top of a car in, I believe it was Washington Heights. I will double check that. She was sitting in a borough, New York, and she was just sitting there. I couldn't tell what she was holding. It was hard to see because there were so many people around her. The video wasn't as great, but she did that. And she also did this video where she was like walking through the train and she was talking about like, oh, if you guys don't buy my album, this might be my flop. Like it was something like that. But basically, I just thought it was cool because I always think about when people say if you can't sell out your city, if you can't be big inside of your city, then you can't go anywhere and sell this product, I guess. I just think it's cool that she is going back to that, tapping back into those roots. Obviously, she's a way bigger artist now, way bigger figure in general. So for her to still go and tap back into I guess the city that made her is still really cool to see. And I think that's a lot of what I feel like that's why people like G Herbo and Lil Durk still have a lot of pull and love from us in Chicago because they always come back and they're always putting on for the city. So
I agree. I think I did see after her trial, she was selling uh, copies of her album with photos from the trial. I thought that was cold.
yeah.
I don't know. I saw the initial clip of that and I liked it. But yeah, I don't. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. She's been promoting this. Do you think this album will be better than the first album?
I think I just want to hear it first. I can't even say it's gonna be better. But I've been waiting on Cardi B music. I think obviously that last album was just a smash, and it's hard to sit there and top an album that's probably gonna go diamond in the next couple of years.
She can't top Bodak Yellow.
No, no.
She had me in parties screaming lyrics at the top of my lungs. 10 years ago now. Damn near 10 years ago now. That's crazy. I'm excited for the project, but like Bodak Yellow was a moment. I don't think she could top Bodak Yellow.
That whole album was a moment, bro. Like,
The whole
especially
thing.
Bodak Yellow, but that whole album was definitely a moment.
For sure. Quickly, just wanted to mention new music. Knucks announced that he's dropping his sophomore album next month. I'm hype.
Yep.
He put his bro, what is it up there doing? I don't know what my neighbor's doing, y'all. But he dropped a single, Gold Tooth, featuring Black Bones. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop legacy, as he likes to call it. I like this song, and I think it was a good way to announce the album. It's not an amazing song, but I like this song specifically. Worth listening to. Did you hear this?
I did hear it. The only thing I had to say is I don't want to have no more Central C Knucks lyricism talks. I don't want to have no more. I just feel like the way he came on, he said, "Yo, who would have knew a future? Who would have knew the future was golden? That the gold tooth you weren't usually chosen." But the way he said it, like the flow, like the smoothness to it, it was super poetic, bro. Like I don't want to hear no more talks about it. But this song was fire to me. I liked it.
Yeah. And then Rapsody put out a song with Madlib called Daddy's Girl. I won't say too much about the production, but Rapsody, I feel like she's just one of the best rappers ever, bro. She killed this song. I like this song a lot.
Yeah, that last album made me feel like that. Like her last project had a lot of good songs on it, and I still go back and listen to songs on there. So I would love to hear her with like straight Madlib album though. Like I remember one of my favorite albums of all time is Madlib and MF Doom, and Madlib be having crazy good production. So I definitely would love to hear her with full Madlib, full Madlib album.
I'm in complete agreement with you, brother. I think that's it for this week, man. I did finally put together the Rhythm and Rhymes playlist. All these songs we've been recommending at the end of these episodes, I put together. Right now it's at about 30 songs. I don't know if I'm gonna go all the way back because that's like hundreds of songs.
Yeah.
That's literally hundreds of songs if we do every episode, but we'll probably keep it around 30 to 40. So the most recent stuff, we'll put the link in the bio. That playlist is done. But what do you want to add to the playlist this week? That's what I would ask.
Okay. My two songs, there's this, I'm guessing he's from Chicago because his name is Rack Baby. Had never heard of him before. But he did, is it On the Radar? I don't know which freestyle it was. But he did a song, it was called Stick Up. It sampled the 3005 beat by Childish Gambino. So I thought that was pretty fire. I'll do Guaban Sex with Raul Alejandro. That song was hard.
I heard that one.
Yeah, that song. Get the hips moving. That's how I felt about it. And then I guess I'll give a third one because I did hear a lot of decent singles this week. But Backyard with Tia Carone and JID. If anybody remembers Tia Carone, she was obviously look at me. She wanna call me Freaky T, whatever. But I be forgetting she could really go like rap wise, and she was definitely. I felt like she was somewhat keeping up with JID on this song. She featured him on.
Yeah,
I thought that was fire. But those are
the hook is insane. I will say I like the song, but the reason I wasn't gonna make it my song of the week because the hook is crazy. Like what she's saying on there. If you read the Genius, you know what I'm saying. If you know, you know. But it's a good song.
Yeah,
it is a good song, like you said, for sure. I'm only gonna give y'all two this week. The first one off that Cal Banks project. Cal Banks' best collaborator is Isaiah Rashad. That's a fact. Like whoever he collaborates with a ton of artists, I will say Isaiah Rashad is the best over Cal Banks beats. He put out a song called 0022 Zay. I don't know what that means, but that song is heat. He has Isaiah Rashad has two songs on the Cal Banks project. This one is the better one to me. So 0022 Zay, and then I'll give you Joey Badass off his last project had a song called High Roller. I really like that song. I really liked that song. I'm not gonna lie. So those are my 2 for the week. He gave you 3 this week. You know what I'm saying? He was listening to a lot of music. You know what I'm saying? He was doing his thing. But I think that's it, bro. I think that's it. What we gonna talk about next week? What's the cliffhanger?
Cardi B album coming out. We're gonna be looking for new music topics, but we'll figure it out. We'll see you guys next week. And remember, everybody you think is your friend is not your friend. Don't forget that.
That's a fact, bro. That's a fact. And if you into hooping, bro, Charlie Kirk high school highlights, go look it up. Let's see y'all later.